I think we're on. I really don't know how this
Yes, it says we're live.
Oh, I felt live this morning when I got up. That's all good.
Good morning, everybody. We're a little bit... Bear with me. There we go. Is that a bit better? There we go. So we are doing this little mini-series on theory test questions that have caught driving instructors out. So this is the ADI theory test questions on your part one.
And mainly because they're saying they're not on the practice list, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they are there. They are out there in the various publications.
Yeah. So it could just be that in terms of the resource that you're using, it hasn't necessarily come up. Or, of course, you've just forgotten about it. So today is when would you use both feet in an automatic? So when would you use... when would you use both feet on both pedals in an automatic? And there are various options. So as we said before, the answer is going to be in there somewhere, but it has got people thinking. So, of course, the whole point of this is to see exactly where this is written. And if you go to your faithful Driving Essential Skills, DES, if you look at the automatic section, and in fact there's a nice chapter on automatics and four-wheel drives, and have a read there. It says under the controlled use of the accelerator, when carrying out manoeuvres at low speed, use hardly any accelerator and only light braking. 1 foot on each pedal is often convenient and safer. So there you go. There's your answer. During manoeuvres. I think that this brings up the conversation of that if you're a driving instructor or a potential driving instructor and you've never driven an automatic car before, or even if you have driven one but not for some time, it could well be that you'll find that there are quite a few questions that come up with automatics. Yeah. And in fact, it's the same with the L test. There are quite a few questions that come up for an L test. And that this is just a little bit of a reminder to get you to be thinking about how you can bring those kind of things into your lessons, into your driving, when you might not necessarily be teaching an automatic. So I would strongly suggest, particularly if at the beginning of your training and you've not yet embarked on this career and you don't have an automatic and perhaps have not driven one for a while, go and book an automatic driving lesson. Go and find a driving instructor locally to you. Explain the situation. You never know, they might give you a free hour if you're lucky, but go and have a play in an automatic and then just ask all the questions that you need to ask. So in terms of what everything means, you could say it was logical that D would be drive, but if you don't know that, and particularly our young people might not actually put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a really good idea.
We've had an automatic and I never used the 1 and 2 gear, and I never really understood what that was for and when to use it. Yeah,
those type of things.
And when do you put it in park when you stop at traffic lights? Do you put it in neutral? All those sorts of bits and bobs.
Yeah.
But make sure the information is relevant and the same as the information on DES, because DES does tell you about that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So certainly go and do that. And if you are a driving instructor who's watching this who does have an automatic car, put your services out there to other driving instructors. I think it's really important because you are going to, within the lifetime of your career, have maybe occasionally a pupil who for some reason is not able to drive the manual car that you might be teaching in. And so to have had a contact with a driving instructor that's local to you that you can pass work onto is really beneficial. But also to have a knowledge and understanding of how those kind of cars work so that you can know whether it's going to be better for somebody else. So go and do that. And then, of course, think about ways that you can be bringing that into your driving lessons because your pupils are going to have these type of questions on their theory. Now, they may not necessarily have the 2 feet and 2 pedals on an automatic, but they certainly get questions about automatic transition and how that works. So go and find out about it for yourself.
Yeah, and there's also a very good chance that you possibly will end up doing automatic training yourself, as in teaching an automatic. Cars are going that way. I believe the last figures I saw was 50% of cars now sold automatic. A lot of the people that I speak to don't really see the point of a manual anymore, because also they're going electric at some point as well. They're all going to be automatic, or the vast majority are. So you might well end up doing automatic in your career. So like Lou said, go and have a lesson. You might actually think, I quite like this. I might actually start in an automatic and teach an automatic. And you're not just looking at people with disabilities anymore. You are looking at a broader range of people will do automatics now because they just don't see the point in manual. The conversations we have with young people particularly, they just don't see the point, and they're happy to do an automatic. So the market's changing in that respect.
Yeah.
Also going to add at this point, it might be relevant or not relevant, but if you you can take your Part 2 and 3 in an automatic as long as you've got a manual license, and then you can teach in manual or automatic, because that's still misunderstood out there.
As long as you own the license that is appropriate.
So as long as you've got a manual license,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
So if you have an automatic car and you're doing your Part 2, you can carry on doing your Part 2 in automatic. You can go and do your Part 3 in your automatic. You can then teach in manual as long as you have a manual thingy on your license.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's worth knowing as well, isn't it? You don't need to swap everything.
Go and test drive one. Go to a garage and test drive a new one,
Yeah.
and ask the people there all the technical information if that's what you're wanting to do. So certainly have a look in Des, read that chapter on automatics, and think about how you can bring those into your lessons potentially, and certainly into the theory that your pupils will be doing. So just to you can say anything, or maybe summarise?
Well, there's probably some good videos on YouTube as well. I might have a look in a minute, see if there's some that sort of will go through with you, because it's not always possible to go out and borrow one or do a test drive. So
Certainly at the moment.
I was going to say that. So yeah, YouTube is probably quite a good place to go and have a little look as well.
Yeah, well, maybe we can set that as a bit of homework for you guys that are watching, is go and see what YouTube clips you've got on how automatics work.
It's a good idea. And underneath the comments in the YouTube, or this YouTube video, put some links to some good YouTube videos on automatics.
So just to summarise, the answer to that ADI Part 1 question that is catching some people out is, when would you use both feet on both pedals in an automatic? And that is when you are manoeuvring.
Okay. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.